Invitational here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Here at ESPN, we'll be starting something new on our bowling presentations. Each week, I'll be speaking with various experts in the industry and discussing current topics of the day. In just 1 minute or so, I'll be back to talk with Joe Antonora, the commissioner of the Professional Bowlers Association. We'll be discussing the future of the PBA Seniors Tour. Now, speaking of those seniors, among the 100 bowlers who tested their talents this week was Billy Walden out of Troy, Missouri. Walden, the reigning PBA National Seniors Champion, qualified in the number 15 position and then finished up the week in 17th place. Although they didn't make the cut to the top 18 this week, Hall of Famers Harry Tiger Smith, Ed Lubanski, Bill Bunetta, and Bill Allen all represented themselves very well here at the Showboat Bowling Center and thrilled the area fans. Now, lest you think the seniors are out here on the tour just for the fun of it, take a look at some of these money figures as far as the career earnings are concerned. The man who will bowl out of the #1 position here today, the great Dick Weber, with a victory, could raise his career earnings to nearly $50,000. Les Zikes and Carmen Salvino, both finalists this week as well, will also be looking to add to their current earnings here at the Showboat this afternoon. Joining me now is the commissioner of the Professional Bowlers Association, Joe Antonora. Joe, 100 players this week, and if I recall correctly, 7 charter members in the PBA history bowling in this tournament this week. You've got to be excited.
We are, Denny. We're off to a flying start, the largest field we've had in the 5 years that we've been running our senior tournaments.
Now, give us an idea what might happen in the future. I know you've had a committee formed. You're going to be discussing perhaps 10 or 12 seniors tournaments in the next 3 or 4 years.
We have a committee, a senior advisory committee. We are shortly going to appoint a senior tour director. The very near future, we look to have 12 tournaments a year for these top players.
And speaking of the number 12 tournaments on the summer tour, all on ESPN. You've got to be excited about those.
We are. It's our richest ever. I think the average purse will be about $125,000. Be a great summer tour, Denny.
And speaking of the summer tour, it'll begin in just a moment or so. My partner, Mike Durbin, will be back, and we'll talk about the top 5 right after this message.
Winners know what it takes to win. In this game, it takes more control, more power, more precision, more curve. One ball has it all. One ball dominates winning on the Pro Tour. The Black U-Dot from Columbia 300. The Black U-Dot, the ball of champions. Columbia 300, sold only in lanes or pro shops.
Joining us now is PBA Hall of Famer Mike Durbin down on the approach. And Mike, how about a preview of today's finals field?
Well, thanks, Denny. I'm out here on the approaches at the Showboat lanes for the 1986 PBA Seniors Invitational. And in the past, our seniors events have been some of our most exciting on our ESPN telecast. Last August, if you remember, Bob Kwalik and Billy Walden staged a classic battle, with Kwalik getting the last 7 strikes in a row to force Walden to get the first one in the 10th to win the championship, which Billy did. And tonight's telecast promises to be equally exciting, as we have 3 ABC Hall of Famers, 2 PBA Hall of Famers, and 3 former winners of seniors events on tonight's telecast. Opening up in 5th place from Crest Hill, Illinois, we have Mickey Spiezio. Mickey is a newcomer to the Seniors Tour. In fact, this is his first Seniors Tournament, and it's his first time on national television anywhere. And as we might expect, Mickey will probably be a little bit nervous, and he has a rough road ahead of him as he has to win 4 games in order to get his first PBA title. In 4th place from Jacksonville, Florida, we have Glenn Pierce. Glenn is a former air traffic controller, and he's a PBA member for 25 years. In the mid-1970s, he was a regular on the PBA Tour, and he made his last appearance on national television in 1976, where he lost to our tournament leader this week, Dick Weber. However, Glenn is on top of his game, as evidenced by the position round last night, where he bowled a fantastic 279 game. However, the best he could get out of that game was a tie, and he didn't move up in the standings. And the man he tied with is our 3rd place qualifier, Carmen Salvino. Carmen is both a PBA and ABC Hall of Famer, and many regard Carmen as the most colorful bowler in bowling history. I know he's certainly been around long enough, as I used to watch him on television when I was a kid. In 2nd place from Palatine, Illinois, we have steady Les Zikes. Les is an ABC Hall of Famer. He's been a both outstanding amateur bowler and professional bowler. His amateur titles include 6 ABC titles and 8 FIQ gold medals. but he's been a tremendous professional bowler too, as he won last year's Seniors Touring Players Doubles Championship, and he has 2 regular PBA titles to his credit, both in Waukegan, Illinois, and they came 14 years apart, which is a PBA record. And our tournament leader is the great Dick Weber. Dick averaged a fantastic 231 this week, and many regard Dick as the greatest bowler of all time, and his record certainly substantiates that claim, as he has 27 PBA titles, 1 seniors title, and he's fresh off a win at the Budweiser Hall of Fame tournament. And Denny, I've never seen Dick bowl better in his career than he has this week at the Showboat.
Coming up next, the finals of the $100,000 Showboat Seniors Invitational. ESPN, the Total Sports Network, in conjunction with the Professional Bowlers Association, today brings you the $100,000 Showboat PBA Senior Invitational. Being brought to you by Columbia 300. By your neighborhood True Value Hardware store. And let's take a look at today's finals. The 5 players. Mickey Spiezio out of Crest Hill, Illinois, will bowl out of the number 5 spot, and he'll be matched up against a wily veteran from Jacksonville, Florida, Glenn Pierce. Whoever survives that match will then meet the spook, Carmen Salvino, out of the Windy City, and bowling out of the number 2 slot this afternoon, Les Zikes, and he is bowling well this week. On top, PBA Hall of Famer, the great Dick Weber. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner here at the Showboat Hotel and Casino. Bowling center lanes, lots of action on tap a little bit later on, but we're going to now take a look at the top 5 players that are involved in today's finals. To my left, ESPN's bowling analyst, Mike Durbin. Mike, an outstanding field, 3 Hall of Famers in the top 5.
And topping that list is the great Dick Weber. He's bowling for the number 1 position. Dick is a 5-step player and probably best known for his golden arm swing. Dick Weber has perhaps the best arm swing in the history of professional bowling or any other kind of bowling. Dick all week long has been playing out near the first arrow, and he loves that angle, Denny, because when he can play around the first arrow, usually he has a good angle of attack to the pocket, his carry goes up, and when Dick Weber's carry goes up, his confidence goes up.
A guy who also is bowling with a great deal of confidence this week, Les Zikes, one of the guys who has arced the ball here at the Showboat and managed to strike.
He certainly has. He's been playing a little bit further inside than the other players, closer to that second arrow. Les is another 5-step player, a little slower speed, but very steady, never beats himself. Keeps that ball in the 1-3 pocket, makes all these spares. He makes you beat him.
And one guy who knows how to win on television will bowl very aggressively here today, Carmen Salvino.
The flamboyant Carmen Salvino, and he seems very loose today. He's joking with the crowd. He seems loose, and when Carmen gets loose on TV, look out. The unique thing about Carmen is how he holds that ball down when he starts his approach. He's been doing that for a number of years. He originated. It works very well with him. He'll be playing out around that first arrow today also.
Making his first appearance in a finals field television-wise in a senior tournament, Glenn Pierce. He has an unusual game.
Glenn Pierce is a 4-step player, and he gets to the line. He has a rather stiff-legged finish at the foul line, but he gets the ball well over the line. He throws the ball reasonably straight with good heavy fingers lift, and he'll be playing around that first arrow. Glenn Pierce seems to be the kind of guy that's very determined, and he looks like the kind of guy you'd want to have on your side in a fight.
Mickey Spiezio, an unknown quantity as far as the seniors are concerned. Very steady, I should say. He'll bowl out of the number 5 slot, and he has looked very good in practice.
He certainly has. Again, he takes 4 steps. He holds the ball out here, as we can see. Kind of pushes it away a little bit late, and his timing is a little late, but he comes through strong at the finish with a good, firm speed. And I really don't know a lot about Mickey. I haven't seen him bowl in the past, and I don't know how he's going to be under pressure, but I guess we'll find out in just a few minutes.
Well, it's the opening stop, 12 straight weeks on the summer tour. Let me put you on the spot. Who do you like today?
Well, usually whoever I pick, it's the kiss of death on them, and they don't have a chance. But I guess what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go with a guy that's playing more inside toward the middle of the lane around that second arrow and pick Les Zikes.
Excellent choice. Coming up, match number 1. That's right, the opening match here today, Mickey Spiezio and also Glenn Pierce.
True Value Hardware, it's more than a name.
The Anchor Hocking 18-piece beverage set has an attractive tempo shape. And the set includes 6 juice glasses plus 6 10-ounce and 6 12-ounce beverage glasses. During June, it's just $3.99 while supplies last. Look for the Bargain of the Month banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
And tell them Pat Summerall sent you.
Strength, pride, tradition. For centuries, the Clydesdale has been known as a special breed. Today, the Clydesdales symbolize Budweiser's dedication to quality, superior ingredients, exclusive beechwood aging, for a distinctively clean, crisp taste you find only in the king of beers. Dedication to quality. You know what it means because it shows in everything you do. Quality taste, because this Bud's for you.
Winners know what it takes to win. In this game, it takes more control, more power, more precision, more curve. One ball has it all. One ball dominates winning on the Pro Tour. The Black U-Dot from Columbia 300. The Black U-Dot, the ball of champions. Columbia 300, sold only in lanes or pro shops.
Back at the Showboat Bowling Center, Denny Schreiner along with Mike Durbin, and just about ready for the opening game of the $100,000 Showboat Seniors Invitational. There is the handshake, and it'll be 50-year-old Glenn Pierce starting on lane 59, the left-hand lane.
And we're bowling at lanes 59 and 60 at the Showboat Hotel, and the bowlers tell me that lane 60 hooks just a little bit more than 59. Pierce around that first arrow, and solid 10 right out of the gate. Looked good, didn't it, Denny?
Oh, boy. I'd buy a bushel full of those and throw them every time, especially on an opening shot. Is it difficult to walk up there the first time when your knee's a little bit nervous?
Mine always are. I don't know about anybody else's, I'll tell you.
Pierce through the week averaging 218 for his 36 games.
Notice how he moves left. Very deliberate player, but he'll move left, go cross lane at the 10-pin. Keeps the ball relatively straight. And let's see, no trouble.
Breathe a sigh of relief, too. You know, you make that first spare and you get a chance to sit down on the bench and your nerves calm down a little bit.
Mine do. I don't know about anybody else's.
First shot for 50-year-old Mickey Spiezio. And this is his opening shot on national television, Mike.
Certainly is. Sets that left foot very carefully, holds the ball out, and then pushes away a little bit late. Right over about the 6th board. He didn't look nervous, did he?
You know, we had a chance to chat last night, he and I said, well, you know, what about bowling on national television? Denny, I've never bowled on national TV, but I've probably made 50 local television shows. And I know you've bowled on quite a few yourself, and that does give you some experience.
Oh, definitely. You get used to bowling with the lights. You get used to performing out there all by yourself. Sometimes the hardest thing about bowling on television like that is there's nobody else bowling in the entire center, and you're out there all by yourself.
Used to hearing those crackling pins all week long.
Trying for a double and an early 10-pin lead.
Oh, my.
Blows that 5 right out of there.
Rip the rack. Great extension. As you and I chatted just before the telecast, we talked about he is very, very basic, very fundamental, but boy, he really attacks the target.
Well, both these players throw the ball relatively straight, and when you can play out around that first arrow and you get that angle coming in to help you with the carry, you can be competitive. And we see the same hit, but Pierce's ball didn't drive through the way Spiezio's ball did. It kind of faded at the end and left the 7-pin.
Glenn Pierce making his first telecast of the season and his 3rd overall career-wise.
And they tell me that he's never bowled a 200 game on television, so we'll see if he can break that jinx this time around. Cross lane at the 7-pin. And he's got it.
So Pierce with a couple of spares. One of the things we talked about earlier today, he has some arthritic knees. He's had some problems with them, and I asked him earlier today, will that be a problem on today's show? Today's matches.
Well, today they feel pretty good. They gave me trouble the 2nd block, but I rested them pretty good and soaked them down. So I've got them bandaged up, and I think today that they'll be fine.
Game's tough enough without having problems with your knees.
It certainly is. I've never had that problem. I've been very blessed in that I've been physically healthy all my career.
Pierce looking for his first strike of the match. And the messenger. Not quite, though.
Well, the message got through to the 10 pin, but not the 7. Huh?
A number of swishing 7-10s this week, Mike Durbin. What causes that?
Well, what happens is, if we can see it on the replay here, we're going to see him out around that first arrow. And watch the head pin and the 5 pin if you can watch both. The head pin should go in front of the 7 and the 5 pin behind it. And it wasn't that way. The 5 went in front. The head pin came all the way back. They both went in front, but the head pin got out the 10. Usually what happens, though, is that 5 pin goes behind the 7 like that. In this case, both of them went in front. Ooh, he's got it. All right.
Pierce converts on his first 3 spare attempts. He's hit the pocket 3 straight shots. Just hasn't had any luck.
Well, if we were playing no tap, he'd be all right, huh?
That's my kind of game. 9 pins is a strike. Spiezio up plus 12 right now and looking to
increase it to 22 if he can
that's
get
right.
One more here. I noticed that Spiezio's ball seems to be a little duller, which means that it's not shiny like Pierce's ball. And that ball didn't finish. He leaves the 2-4-5-8, the bucket. I was just going to say that maybe that's making it finish a little bit more, and as this one kind of hung out there.
Trust is a must, as they say in this business. You have to swing a little bit to the right to get it back, don't you?
Right, and then but you've got to be able to continue on through with that shot and not try and help it back at the last second. Tough spare here. See how he plays it. Looks like he's playing it from the left, or at least down around the 3rd or 4th arrow. And, ooh, just gets it. That ball held on. I thought he might chop it there for a second.
That's not the easiest spare in the world to shoot, especially if you haven't had an opportunity to shoot that in practice. Mike, let me ask you this. You do get a chance to practice before the finals. Do you ever shoot the spares?
Sometimes, and we see here the ball just nicks that 5 pin. But what you do is the pins setter is set on second ball cycle in practice before the television show. And so whenever we shoot spares, it's always against a full rack, so you really can't tell that way.
Spiezio leads by 8. Getting ready for frame number 4. Started with the double.
Coming up light, same thing, knocks the 8 pin out of there, leaves the 2-4-5. Well, he's had a little practice at it on the right lane. See if he can make it on the left lane here.
Mike, bowling, especially at the professional level, is a game of adjustments. What did Mickey do differently in frames 3 and 4 after he doubled?
Could be that the adrenaline got going just a little bit more and increased that speed just a freckle, and the ball didn't quite make it up. Either that or he's just not clearing that thumb quite clean enough out of the ball to get the good lift with the fingers to make the ball finish. Because he was right there the first 2 frames.
Cross alley spare, and he covers, and so this one very close indeed. Spiezio leads by 5, and we'll be back in a moment.
You know those good times, they keep rolling on at the Showboat, they keep rolling on. The Showboat, that's where you belong in Las Vegas. The Showboat, come on along to where the fun goes on and on. Good times are rolling at the Showboat. The Showboat.
It's Friendly Ford's biggest summer closeout sale ever. Through special financial arrangements, make no payments till 1987. Plus, put no cash down on over 500 new cars, trucks, and vans. That means you make no June, July, August, September, October, November, or December payment. You don't pay 1 penny till 1987. Then ranges from just $129 a month. But Friendly's special financial arrangements won't last forever.
Come get the deals that you've been looking for at Friendly Ford.
Bing Crosby started it.
I only play golf for the fun. Tomorrow's my lucky day.
Catherine Crosby has revived the friendly, charitable atmosphere of the original Crosby Clam Bake. This year's star-studded tournament includes celebrities from entertainment, sports, business, and government. Enjoy the fun. Celebrate the 1986 Crosby, Sunday night, June 15th at 7:30 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Oh, my. $25,000. The good folks from True Value Hardware Stores, they'll give that to any professional, Mike Durbin, that shoots a 300 on the summer tour.
There haven't been too many in the history of our telecasts over the years. I'd certainly love to see that 25,000 given away.
Go ahead and ask me how many there have been, Mike.
How many have there been, Denny?
3, of course.
3, huh?
Any bowling fan would know that. Boy, I'd love to see that $25,000 check.
I was a personal participant in the first one. Jack Bielnello shot 300 at the Firestone Tournament of Champions in 1967, and he beat Les Sisler, and then they said to me, go out and bowl Jack.
Good luck. Pierce trails by 5. Opening match.
Looking for his first strike.
Trying to get zeroed in.
He did. He got zeroed in. That ball just set right at the pocket. You see that ball just kind of held in there right at the pocket.
In watching Glenn last night, he played pretty much outside the first arrow, really played the gutter, and he seems to be moving left here in this match, Mike.
It seemed in practice, Denny, that the ball was not swinging back the way it had last night for the players that were playing around that first arrow, so they have to tighten up that line and just figure they don't have that room to the right they had last night. Trying for a double. Can take the lead if he can double here. He likes it. He likes it. Great shot there.
Here's a great tip for the fans, because the minute that pro starts to back up and looks, he knows he's thrown a good shot. So now Pierce, with that double in the 4th and the 5th, takes a 5-pin lead.
Let's see if Spiezio can correct his problems in the 3rd and 4th frame and get that ball up. Be interesting to see if he tries to soften up the speed or just move a freckle to the right. Pretty shot. I think it's just his own personal execution that he got out of that ball just a little cleaner and got the lift with the fingers, and it rolled better that time.
Seemed to be a little more deliberate, Mike, in the speed of the ball. Slowed the speed down, let the ball react a little bit.
I like the way he threw that shot.
Beautiful shot. 50-year-old Mickey Spiezio making his first ever appearance on national television. Stands at 5 feet 6 inches tall. And boy, he is solid as a rock. Very strong player.
Trying to take the lead back again. He's down by 5. Can take a 5-pin lead if he can double. Knocks that 10 right out of there. Pretty shot.
You know, you get a chance to smell a little more liniment oil when the seniors bowl, and there are a few graying temples, but these guys love to compete, Mike Durbin.
And here we see Spiezio watching it. Look at those eyes. He's ready for it. Pierce trying to take the lead back again. Got the seesaw battle going. Down 5. Light, and just knocks that 10-pin out of there. Woo! That 6-pin climbed out of the channel to get that 10.
So Pierce now, with a turkey, has taken a 5-pin lead, and this is back and forth, Mike Durbin, this opening match. And who said life doesn't begin after the age of 50?
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. And there's Sandra Pierce, Glenn's lovely wife.
Boy, it's tougher to sit down there and watch than it is to bowl, and I'm sure Debbie Durbin is very much aware of that.
Yes, she sure is. Trying to increase his lead to 15 and make 4 in a row. Running it out all the way.
Glenn Pierce at this point is absolutely flush the last 4 frames, and he has taken the lead. Back with more bowling right after this.
Just because you've washed your car doesn't mean you're finished. After each wash, you need some Armor All. On the dash, the bumper, and especially the tires. After all, when you're in love, what's a few extra minutes? Armor All. It's the finishing touch every time you wash your car.
For every man who wears Brute, there's a woman who loves what he smells like. Because there's something about Brute that's nice to be close to. And nobody knows that better than a woman. Brute. It smells like a man.
Hello? Honey, I was just thinking about you.
Brute. It smells like a man.
Alan Abelson, the editor of Barron's.
You usually buy a stock in the expectation that it's going to go up. The problem is you're buying it from someone who's equally convinced that it's going down. This sobering observation is brought to you by Barron's, because the difference between happiness and unhappiness in such exchanges often comes down to who's better informed. And that's where we can help with weekly updates on thousands of stocks and bonds, interviews with insightful stock pickers, reports on promising companies, and one of the most complete statistical digests published anywhere. Of course, you could ignore all that and trust your luck. But then Barron shows up every week without fail, which is more than you can say for luck.
Subscribe to Barron's now and get 26 weeks for only $41 with a money-back guarantee. Call 800-554-9000. 800-554-9000.
Opening match, and it has been a dandy thus far, Mike Durbin. Both guys took a couple of frames to get lined up, but since that time, they've thrown nothing but strikes.
Spiezio right now down 15 pins and almost in a must-strike situation the way Pierce has just thrown those last 4 shots. Sometimes when you go to the commercial break and come back out of it, your concentration wanes just a little bit. Clean shot. Boy, was that clean. His concentration didn't wane. Right in there.
Although Mickey Spiezio has not yet had an opportunity to bowl on television as far as the PBA Tour is concerned. He won 2 gold medals in the FIQ competition in the world events in Panama City. So here's a guy who has bowled under pressure before.
Well, obviously, I think I read where he won 45 tournaments, so he's obviously performed well under pressure. And we're seeing that experience come right to the top of the cup right now. Can take the lead back again if he can get his 4th strike in a row. Down by 5. Oh, boy. I tell you what, that outside line looks like it's looking better and better. They didn't throw that many strikes in practice as Spiezio takes the lead back by 5.
Mike, neither player cutting any slack. A pair of 4-baggers, and both players are lined up and loose.
8th frame action. Pierce down by 5 pins right now, going at a 228 pace. Spiezio going at a 233 pace right now. Pierce, however, we got to talk in potentials. Is potential 268 if he would take it out the sheet. Oh, the solid 10 again. And it's going to be that makes a difference in this match, the way that both these players are just drilling the pocket.
You talked about the possible 268 last night in the position round game. He shoots 279 to tie Carmen Salvino, so he knows how to string him.
And watch the 6th spin, second from the right. It just flies, and it didn't even get high. Did you see how low it stayed as it went around that 10 pin? That's what drives professional bowlers to have gray hair.
Or no hair.
Cross lane at the 10 pin, has the spare.
Pierce, 25 years now, a member of the Professional Bowlers Association, has career earnings in excess of $67,000, still looking for his first PBA title.
And the situation right now is Pierce is down by 6 pins, but if he can strike in the 9th and all the way out in the 10th, he's still potential 247. A strike in the foundation 9th frame is essential right now. Very little time. And there's the result, boy. That can be the difference right there. The 4, 6, 7. Ball just snapped through right at the tail end. Looks good right here. Looks good still. And then boom, right there. Just snapped right through the heart of the pins, and he got the full penalty. He thinks it's going to be really good, and then all of a sudden, cross lane at the 4-7. Not much chance. It doesn't bounce out. He's open. And he's left the door wide open for Mickey Spiezio.
So really the first turning point in this match. Both players very solid through the first 8 frames, and now Spiezio has a real good chance to walk through the door.
Spiezio right now up by, let's see, he's up about 20 pins.
No lead is comfortable at this level, though.
What he needs to do is just fill these last 2 frames, some kind of spare or strike in the last 2 frames, and he's going to win his first game on television. Oh, that locked it up right there. Now all he has to do is show up for the 10th frame. And there's his wife, Joan. And she looks nervous too, doesn't she?
All of a sudden, once you get ahead in the late stages, you start to breathe a little more deeply, I should say, and the shoulders relax and the tension starts to leave. But it's never over till it's over.
And Spiezio with 7 strikes out of his first 9 shots on television. And he's been able to carry every time he's hit the 1-3 pocket.
He's making it look easy, Mike.
He certainly is.
Working on a 5-bagger.
Just needs to keep it on the lane. That's enough. He's a winner right now, and he strikes to boot. Spiezio rose to the challenge. Pierce bowled a nice game. Just that one errant shot in the 9th frame. But really, even if he just struck there the way Spiezio's going, he's still going to win. Spiezio strike all the way out for 263. He's in the 250s right now with a decent count.
Obviously, the lights have had little effect on his concentration.
And they're not bothering the bowling ball either. Here it comes. Another light hit. Well, he's got that hit patent. Looks like Dick Weber out there.
Mike, is that one of the best percentage hits when you do shake them like that? You don't have to worry about leaving the solid pins. And once you get those pins flying around, you seem to strike almost every time.
Well, from that angle, Denny, I think you do. When you're coming in from that outside angle, that light hit is a high percentage hit. Now, if you're taking my ball coming in from the fourth arrow, that light hit may not be so high percentage.
You mean the 5 pins in danger of standing up?
Standing up might have company, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my, Mickey Spiezio has just jumped into the driver's seat.
Well, just wait till he gets loose. Oh. We may be giving away $25,000 as he finishes with 262.
Oh, my. First chance ever on national television, and boy, did he respond. 262, and Glenn Pierce really, at this point, just has to finish out the 10th frame and, of course, still take a very nice check home to Jacksonville, Florida.
It's going to help his bowling center there. I think it's called Beach Bowl.
That's right. He's just been involved in that. I think he told me a couple of weeks ago he got involved with somebody else, bought the bowling center, and so, well, that money, he'll take it down, put it in the bowling center, and try again next year.
As long as he can get out of town without leaving some of it at the tables, huh?
There's always that possibility.
Trying to finish out in the 220s. Pretty shot there. So Pierce can finish with 7 strikes and lose the match by almost 40 pins.
Well, in your years on the tour, especially bowling on television, you probably would have stood up there and taken 223 every time out.
Oh, yeah, if you can take 223 to start, let him shoot at it. Yeah, you would.
Sure. So a very solid performance for Glenn Pierce. Unfortunately, he ran into a buzzsaw from Crest Hill, Illinois, Mickey Spiezio. Pierce
finishing out with 220. Very nice game.
And that, of course, concludes opening match. And so Spiezio now will get a chance to move on. And the next test will not be an easy one for him.
Well, the next test is going to be another guy from Illinois. In fact, the next 2 are from Illinois. So we have a... There's the final score. Finished 220 to 262. Spiezio moves on to face Salvino.
And Carmen Salvino will be ready and raring to go when we come back for match number 2 here from the Showboat.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Telco.
Up here, power when you need it can save your neck. When you get back down to your car, it helps too. Today's smaller engines need extra firepower from a spark plug, and AC delivers. If you could look inside your engine, you'd see an AC spark plug delivering up to 30,000 volts, firing 30 times a second. Firepower when you need it from AC.
Get rebates now on AC spark plugs.
Never wait for trouble.
When I was growing up, I didn't spend all my time playing tennis. I also had my share of chores, like washing the family car. Now I'm breaking in my replacement. Kids today don't really realize how easy they've got it. You see, we have a JetX.
Yes, superior technology has created the JetX Power Spray Washer. It accelerates water to 20 times its normal speed to wash away dirt and grime in minutes. Even second-story windows become beautifully clean. Use this fan tip to power spray your car with JetX super concentrated suds. Then rinse away road dirt and grime. And right now, JetX can save you money. Look for this $3 factory rebate on the package or wherever JetX is sold.
It does all that and more, so take it from a pro. Get a JetX. Now I can spend all my time playing tennis.
Spray wash like a pro with the JetX Power Spray Washer.
Get a $3 factory rebate on the JetX Power Spray Washer. Look for this product at these fine stores.
Was the turning point, really, Mike Durbin, in that first match.
This is 9th frame action of game 1 here. Pierce, if he strikes here, can set himself up to go up for 247, and he's still in the match. He throws it over about the 6th or 7th board. It looks good at this point, and then all of a sudden it turns left right through the heart of the pins. The 4, 6, 7 stand. Pierce is looking at it, and he thinks it's going to be a strike, and then all of a sudden he says, oh no, and realizes that he's basically lost this match at that point.
And still bowled very well in losing the opening match.
Yes, he did.
And on ESPN coming up, don't forget the College World Series. What a dandy. That's my team, Mike Durbin. Florida State, they'll play Arizona. And that, of course, live coverage continuing through June 8th from Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. And those people out there in Nebraska love their sports. Keep in mind, though, some of those games will be subject to local blackout.
There's the handshake to start the match, and I just got back from New Orleans, and the people down there tell me that LSU is going to win it all.
Oh, did you get a chance to watch the night those two played?
No, I didn't.
Oh, boy, what a ball game that was. Played down at Florida State. Opening shot, match number 2.
And Salvino has made Spiezio start on the left lane, so evidently Salvino feels that he can hit lane 59 better than lane 60. And Spiezio's just hitting both of them.
Doesn't make much difference to him where he starts or finishes. I had a chance to ask him if he's bowled much against Carmen, considering the fact that they're in the same region. He said a few times, but I'm aware of his reputation. Carmen Salvino, PBA Hall of Famer, 18 career PBA titles, and the current president of the Professional Bowlers Association.
Over about the 8th board, a solid 10. That's the way Pierce started the match.
Carmen on the week was 2nd in pinfall and actually ended up in the number 3 slot. Averaged 221.5 for 36 games, and that's some pretty high scoring.
Yeah, I'd like to have it. Cross lane at the 10 pin. Notice how all these pros move left for spares on the right. He gives it a little kick with his foot there.
In getting a chance to chat with Carmen before today's telecast, I said, you know, Carmen, you've had so much success on national television. What is the key to bowling well when they turn those lights on? What do you think about under the lights?
Well, first of all, it's a lot different than the regular qualifying. You can kind of mentally pace yourself in the qualifying. You could shoot 2-0, possibly 190 and never get hurt, because you know if you get going, you're going to shoot 250 or 60. But if you shoot 2-0 or 190 on television, you're probably going to lose the first match. You've got to come out a lot more aggressive. I come out with a very aggressive mental attitude.
And he's very aggressive on that shot as he gives it a little wave. Carmen, who likes to get things going and likes to play to the crowd. He's just a natural extrovert, and he likes to be a crowd pleaser.
Dick Weber looking on from the wing, smiling from ear to ear, watching one of his cohorts in crime, Carmen Salvino, hard at work.
Well, I'm sure they've bowled against each other a few times over the last 25 years. Spiezio trying for a double. Just he's saying, the heck with that light hit anymore. I'm just going to start stuffing him in there.
Has anybody mentioned to him that this is national television and he's bowling for a PBA title?
Well, you can go down and tell him, Denny. But
oh, no, I wouldn't.
He seems to be in his own little world right now.
And that's where you've got to stay, Mike. We'll talk about that. Concentration on the tour is really the key to success, but perhaps even more so when you have all the distractions of the lights.
Well, you not only have the distractions of lights, you've got the crowd sitting almost in your lap. You've got to be able to shout out all these things and just concentrate on you and the target and how you want to throw that ball and just get into a rhythm and get it going. He seems to be in that rhythm. Well, just flush again. 3 flush strikes.
Perfect through three frames, I should say now, for Mickey Spiezio. And he has just labeled that 1-3 pocket, Mike Durbin, like he's owned it.
And in the first match, what do you have? 9 strikes.
9 strikes.
9 strikes the first match.
7 in a row, I think, at one stage.
Yeah. And 9 out of 12, and he started with 3 here.
So Salvino trailing. Has his work cut out.
Has to start striking right now. And knocks that 10 pin out of there. Keeps himself right in the match. Carmen can answer the challenge of strikes, as we saw in the position round last night when Glenn Pierce shot 279 at Carmen. Carmen came right back and shot 279 himself.
In 33 appearances on national television, Carmen's record 28 wins, 23 losses. Of course, those numbers spanning over 28 years as a PBA member. You're looking at a charter member here and one of the guys that was really instrumental in starting the tour.
And he's still here.
And still bowling well.
Still bowling outstanding. Trying for 3 in a row to tie the match. And does it. Well, a
couple of players from near the Windy City are battling it out here in a very close match in match number 2. Back with more action after this.
Here comes the sun, here comes the fun.
At Blake's Holiday Marine, featuring Mer Cruiser inboards, you get the best of boating all rolled into one. With names like Sunrunner, Sleekcraft, Baja, and Regal, all powered by Mer Cruiser inboards. Blake's Holiday Marine is what better boating is all about. See for yourself at either of our 2 convenient locations, Boulder Highway just south of Russell Road, or Valley View 4 blocks south of Sahara. Blake's Holiday Marine and Mer Cruiser inboards.
A sure winner in any water.
Is on Showtime all summer long.
And of course, coming your way on ESPN, live coverage of the World Cup Soccer tournament, most prestigious tournament in international sports. Teams from 24 nations, Mike Durbin, traveling to Mexico to vie for really the international title. And I know that Mike Jr. is a big soccer fan, even though he's had a tough time with his leg as of late.
Well, right. He played soccer all 4 years he was in college, played sweeper back. And I knew nothing about soccer until Mike got interested in it in his senior year in high school. And now I know enough to put in the thimble, but Mike does pretty well at it.
Mickey Spiezio
trying for 4 in a row and to take the lead back again. 10-pin didn't go. The ball seemed to come up and set at the pocket and not drive through.
Mike, how much of an adjustment will these guys have to make now with the oil pattern carrying down a little bit? Do you just constantly have to keep making those adjustments as the matches go on?
Well, you do, but it's minor adjustments. Right now, it's just a matter of executing. The lanes are staying pretty much the same. Mickey's throwing, basically every ball in the pocket. Carmen's throwing every ball in the pocket. And it may be a half a board move or maybe a move with just throw it a little slower. We should explain to our viewers is as that oil carries down the lane, many times, and he misses the 10-pin, boy. That can be a crucial error in a tight match like this. He had nothing spares to shoot at, in his defense. And the ball just was in trouble as soon as it left his hand and falls off about 3 feet in front of the 10-pin. Or maybe a foot, somewhere in there.
The first real mistake for Spiezio here on the telecast. And with Salvino on a turkey, that's the wrong time to miss a spare.
Right, Salvino has that killer instinct, when you open in front of him, it's kind of like bleeding in front of a shark. Well, he's going to get another shot at it and leave that, see if he can pick the 10-pin up again.
Mike, when you make a mistake and you open the door, the next shot after that really is crucial because you want to prove to the guy, hey, I can stand up and throw another strike.
Not only that, but you also have to get your composure back again. It rattles you inside. You made a dumb mistake because missing a 10-pin is a dumb mistake for a professional bowler. And back to the topic we were talking about on the oil carrying down the lane, the ball will pick up oil and carry it down toward the hemp-pin as we continue bowling. And sometimes that makes the lanes tighter for a period of time. And he may have almost missed another one. I'll tell you what.
Well, if he doesn't win this match, he might get a chance to watch your tip of the week, which is how to pick up the 10-pin successfully. So Salvino now working on a turkey, leads by 13, and shooting now in the 5th frame on the right-hand lane. TV pair 59 and 60 here at the Showboat Bowling Center.
Carmen trying for 4 in a row. Knocks that 10-pin out of there.
Mike, something we haven't yet touched on. Carmen starts the ball in an unusual position, does not hold it with both hands, but lets it hang as its side.
He's done that for a good 10, 12 years, and he started it back. He came out with a thing where he called it the equation. And everybody said, well, what's the equation, Carmen? He says, I'm not telling anybody what the equation was. But he used to hold the ball up underneath his chin there for a while. But he met a fellow, I can't remember his name, but anyway, he talked him into putting that ball down by his side. He's put it there. I tried it for 3 or 4 years and found it to be very beneficial at achieving proper timing in an easy fashion. Trying for 5, goes high. leaves the 310. Looked like he just got soft with the speed that time.
Baby split. Now give us an idea of how you're going to shoot this and make it.
Well, he's had an opportunity to shoot the 10 pin to see what the ball's going to do going cross lane. And he'll make a minor adjustment off of that 10 pin shot that he had. Wants to hit the 3 pin on the right, have it deflect into the 10. And I recommend throwing the ball relatively straight at it, which he's doing, and opens the door back up. Spiezio's still alive.
Well, Carmen a little upset, I think, with himself, not only for the first shot, but also the second one. So Salvino still leads by 9, but once again, the door and the momentum could swing back the other way. To survive on this tour, you have to walk through that door when it's open.
That's right. Spiezio with a very firm wrist support on. Helps they keep their wrists straight. And there's the result right there. Just blows that 5 into the 7.
Just destroyed that rack, just ripped that rack to shreds on lane 60. And these guys are over 50 and still throwing the ball like that?
They certainly are.
I guess that's what's great about the sport, though, Mike. You and I have talked about that,
Well, it's
too.
a lifetime sport.
Sure it is.
You can do it from age 5 up to age 95. There's some of the people here at the Showboat lanes. Judy Moore in the middle, and our commissioner, Joe Antonora, on the right.
And Jack Cook.
General manager here on the left there.
Well, what
trying
about
to take the lead back. And knocks the 10 out this time.
6-pin hard at work that time, slapped it out. Spiezio now leads by 1, and things have tightened up considerably here in match number 2. Back with more after this.
Whether you like to venture out into the backwoods or just the backyard, you'll find great outdoor supplies at True Value hardware stores. Like this Weber one-touch 22.5-inch kettle grill in red, chocolate, or black. Prepare foods with the Harvard 3-piece barbecue tool set with stain-free blades. Keep food and drinks cold with this handy True Value 12-quart cooler and 1/2-gallon jug. And bugs are no problem with the Flint Roll 20-watt flying insect killer from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Winners know what it takes to win. In this game, it takes more control, more power, more precision, more curve. One ball has it all. One ball dominates winning on the Pro Tour. The Black U-Dot from Columbia 300. The Black U-Dot, the ball of champions. Columbia 300, sold only in lanes or pro shops.
Get on the fast track. When man races to win, you'll finish first on ESPN with innovative coverage of more than 60 races this year. The world's #1 motor racing network, ESPN.
Carmen Salvino had a lead for a while until the 6th frame and the baby split came along, and now he finds himself in a situation where he trails by 1 heading into the 7th frame.
Still very much in the match, though. Over about the 8th board, light in the pocket, blows him out of there. He says, Spiezio, if you can do it, so can I.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind, my favorite Carmen Salvino move is the hitch of the pants, a la Arnold Palmer, of course.
Right. Who started it first?
Oh, that's a good question. I would venture to say if you asked Mr. Salvino, he'd probably let you know who did.
He'd probably say that he started it first.
He taught Arnold how to do that.
Right.
Two great players in their own rights.
To take the lead back again. Knocks that 10 pin out of there. And then waves at.
So Salvino now takes a 9-pin lead, and he lets everybody know how he feels, Mike, when he does throw a strike.
See how square he is at the line, left arm out for balance. Look at the follow-through, trying to help it a little bit. Now he's saying, come on up, get that 10 pin. He's only looking at the 10. There's his reaction.
We got the variety there, the hitch, the hand slap, and then the wave as he walked by.
Spiezio, though, can take the lead right back again with one more. Down by 9. Right there. Oh, right there. He's running it out a little bit. He hasn't shown any emotion at all until then.
Mike, that may have been his best shot of the telecast thus far. And Spiezio now back up by 1, and he is now working on a turkey. And both of these players now lined up for the stretch run here in game number 2.
And I think if my addition is right, the situation is that they're both going at 220 paces right now, 227 to 226. And they're both potential for 257 and 256 if they would both strike all the way out. Spiezio on the 9th frame needs to keep it going, because if he doesn't strike, Salvino could close him out. He did, though. Boy.
That is the setup frame, as the professional bowlers like to call it. And right now, Mickey Spiezio is in position to dictate his own destiny.
And Spiezio's had every ball in the pocket, 2 10-pins, and he missed 1.
That's what I told you earlier, that he has been very consistent all week long. So now the pressure back on the PBA president, Carmen Salvino.
Must strike here in the 9th frame. A little high. And, oh, the pin was rolling around, but didn't hit the 4. And it shakes his head. He just went over the top of that ball a little bit. Big shot right there.
At that time, Mike, I spent my time watching Mickey Spiezio and see how he reacted. He had his head down, did not even look at the shot.
See him go over the top of that ball a little bit. Now bites right there and goes high. Leaves the 4-pin. That pin rolled around. Oh, would have knocked it over if it had hit it, but it just missed it. He's still alive, though. Down by 12. He's potential 235 if he can strike out.
Well, professional bowlers live and die in the 10th frame, Mike.
10th frame so many times is right.
I think, don't you tell yourself, just get me to that position where let me dictate my own destiny, and I'll go to work from there.
I never liked that. I always liked to lock it up earlier.
You were always hedging those bets.
There's the first one. That's got to take him 1 at a time. He's potential 235. That makes Spiezio mark right there. 1 more, and he's going to make Spiezio strike somewhere to win. We could have a tie here.
The play this week has been sensational, and you're seeing it right now. Salvino with his back to the wall here. Second shot in the 10th frame.
Trying for that double. And he gets it out of there. If we have a tie, we'll have a 9th and 10th frame.
So a 2-frame roll-off then to determine who would head to the semifinal match.
Right. That puts Carmen in the 230s.
52-year-old Carmen Salvino out of the Windy City, out of Chicago, Illinois, and he is proud of it.
And he needs a strike on the fill ball. 235 would make Spiezio strike on either the first or second ball. If Spiezio got 9 on the first ball and the spare and a strike, he could win by a pin. And he did, 235, and there's the reaction. That's a little psych job that he's doing right there.
Well, if anyone through the years has been able to utilize that, it is Carmen Salvino. And let's take a look at Carmi when he strikes final shot.
He kind of points those hands behind. I don't know if he's pointing at Spiezio or saying, hey, I can strike whenever I want to. Boy, as Carmen likes to put that in there, that boy in there. Spiezio going at a 237 pace. Needs to fill 19 pins in the 10th frame to come out a winner. And he does it. Boy, he responded, I tell you. He ran it out different. He didn't start waving or anything, but I tell you, I wouldn't want him to be in the way of that right hand then.
Mickey Spiezio, a PBA member now for 2 years, has earned just a little less than $7,000, and if he keeps going at this pace, he's going to end up doubling his career earnings.
That's right, very quickly. Huh?
Just tremendous action here at the Showboat this week.
Well, he's got 3 Hall of Famers to get by, and he's by one of them. He's going high this time. Breaks it down, leaves the 4-7. He's going to be in the 240s. He's going on to meet Les Zikes, and his wife, Joan, is adding up the score. I don't think she knows that he's won, but she can be happy because he has.
I think she knows he's won, but not by how many, and I guess it doesn't make much of a difference. So 2 matches for Mickey Spiezio, the unknown quantity, as we mentioned in
yeah, we didn't know how he'd respond to the pressure, but he has certainly showed his character and his heart, especially in that 10th frame. There was a great shot. Salvino applauds. Good sportsmanship there.
Well, anytime you shoot 235 and you lose, you have to feel good about it. 245 to 235, so a 10-pin victory for Spiezio. And he continues to bowl well. And, of course, coming up here in just a moment or so, we'll talk about Mike Durbin and his bowling tip, of course, picking up the 10-pin right after this.
In the search for materials of lasting value, materials that stand up to the test of time, you must know the sign to look for. Only vulcanized pressure-treated lumber has the diamond label. It's your lifetime guarantee against termites, rot, and decay. So find the diamond. It's worth looking for.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
Up here, power when you need it can save your neck. When you get back down to your car, it helps too. Today's smaller engines need extra firepower from a spark plug, and AC delivers. If you could look inside your engine, you'd see an AC spark plug delivering up to 30,000 volts, firing 30 times a second. Firepower when you need it from AC.
Get rebates now on AC spark plugs.
Never wait for trouble.
Mankind has always been pressed for time, but never more so than in American business in the 1980s. For instance, some people are so obsessed with saving time that they don't read the Wall Street Journal, which is rather odd, considering how little time it can take. In just a few minutes, the Journal's front page gives you summaries of the day's most important business developments. Of course, if you have a little more time, you can dig a little deeper and discover how efficiently organized the Journal really is. Now, granted, reading the Journal doesn't exactly save you time. It just helps you spend it more wisely.
Call 800-554-9000 for this special introductory offer. 13 weeks for just $29.50 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.50. Phone 800-554-9000 now for the Wall Street Journal.
And, of course, the pivotal point in match number 2, the 6th frame, Salvino led by 23, Mike.
Right, and he could have increased his lead, taken a commanding 33-pin lead right here if he strikes on lane 59. What happened was, again, he seemed to go over the top of the ball and a little soft, and it bites right here. Starts going high. You know that he's in trouble right now. It's going through the heart of the pins. Leaves the 310. It'd have been all right if he'd have converted it, but he failed to make what really is about a 2-to-1 shot. And that opened the door for Spiezio.
And a 5-bagger by Spiezio. Speaking of upcoming events, we'll be back right here next week at the Showboat Bowling Center. It's the Doubles Classic. Steve Cook and Mike Albee. Pretty good pair of left-handers.
Pretty good pair of left-handers is right, and they're the ones to beat next week. Then we go on from there up for the Kessler Open in June 18th.
Get a chance to talk with Earl Anthony.
Right, in Dublin, California.
That's exactly right. On down the line. And then the Firebolt Ebonite tournament. And that's that'll be week number 3. Make it week number 4, actually, on the summer tour.
On June 25th. Then we come down to my part of the country, or where I used to be from, Southern California, though I haven't lived out there in a number of years, the $115,000 Southern California Open on July 2nd.
Well, we had a chance a little earlier today to talk to Mike, and of course, making the 10-pin, if you're a bowler, is always a key. And so, Mike, just how do you make that 10-pin?
Hi, Mike Durbin here at the downstairs facility of the National Bowling Hall of Fame. Last year for our tips, we looked at basically the 4-step approach. We looked at the follow-through, we looked at the proper finish, we looked at targeting. This summer, I've chosen a different topic. I've chosen spares for my topic this year, and the variety of different spares there are: split conversions, right and left spares. The reason why I've chosen spares is that I feel in today's era of the power ball that spares are often overlooked and even neglected. Some people think that spares are only for women and children, is the common saying. But I really don't believe that any great bowler on the PBA has achieved that greatness without also having been a good spare shooter. And spares really aren't that difficult if you follow some simple basic rules. Rules like, for spares on the right side of the lane, I want to move to the left side of the approach. And spares on the left side of the lane, I'll move to the right side of the approach. And for spares in the middle of the lane, I'm going to stand around where I did for my strike target and use that strike target to make that spare. There'll be some other rules that we'll run into as we go on through the course of the 12 weeks. Today, the spare that we're going to try and convert and learn how to make is the 10-pin. The 10-pin is the one on that far right side of the lane for right-handers. And by the way, left-handers, you can just reverse all these rules and apply them to you for the left side of the lane. But anyway, the 10-pin is the one that strikes fear in the heart of so many amateur and professional bowlers alike. But it really isn't that difficult if you just learn some simple basic rules. And let me show you how I try and make the 10-pin. On almost every approach, there's a series of dots at the 12-foot mark. The last dot to the left is the 30th board. Now, what I want to do to make the 10-pin first is get a reference point to stand on that I can use in almost every bowling center I go into. And the reference point that I'm going to start off with, it's a little bit trial and error first, is 7 boards to the left of that 30th board. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to put the inside edge of my left foot on the 37th board, and I'm going to aim at the 3rd arrow from the right to try and make that 10-pin. And by the way, all the spares I shoot on the right side of the lane, I'm going to use that 3rd arrow as my target. But this will be my reference point for the 10-pin. If I happen to miss that spare to the right, I'll know that I need to move a little bit further right. If I miss the 10-pin to the left, I know I need to move a little bit left, but keep the same target out there. But let's see how it works. I'll try and make it. I get my ball, set myself up on the 37th board, get myself comfortable into the approach. One other thing, as I put my hand on the ball, I'm going to try and keep my hand straight behind the ball and not turn it at all. Go straight through it so the ball rolls a little bit more end over end and doesn't hook as much at the 10-pin. It makes it easier to make. Let's see how it goes here. Dead center, how about that? Really, the 10-pin is not as difficult as everybody thinks it is. With just a little practice, maybe a lot of practice, you can improve your percentage of making that spare. Next week, we're going to cover how to make the 6-pin and the 3-pin. See you then.
And coming up, match number 3. Les Zikes out of Palatine, Illinois, will have to try and match up with Mickey Spiezio, and he has just been unbelievable here as he has mowed down 2 opponents and is averaging, Mike Durbin, if you can believe it at this point, 253 for the first couple of games, and we'll be back to talk about that match right after this timeout.
The lowest factory financing in America. It's now available at Las Vegas Dodge. 5.8% on every car and truck we build. 5.8% financing. Rates so low that conversion vans are now as low as $236 a month. A 1986 Dodge 600 4-door, only $149 a month. And if you're a cash or credit union buyer, we'll give you up to $1,000 factory rebate on every vehicle we build. Hurry, no one can afford to miss this great opportunity. As low as 5.8 factory financing on everything we build. But only at Las Vegas Dodge on both sides of town.
You know those good times, they keep rolling on. At the Showboat, they keep rolling on. The Showboat, that's where you belong in Las Vegas. The Showboat, come on along to where the fun goes on and on. Good times are rolling at the Showboat. The Showboat.
Getting ready now for the semifinal match. The winner advances into the title. Les Zikes out of Palatine, Illinois. And, of course, Mickey Spiezio, who bowls out of Crest Hill, Illinois, and one of his very, very good friends, a good buddy of yours, Jim Stefanich.
Very good, buddy. The last guy to bowl 300 on national television, wasn't Jim? And already the phantom is struck. You know, I picked Zikes to win, and he sticks in the practice balls, walks over the foul line, gets a conditioner on his shoe, and he did not get a strike in his practice balls. Spiezio leaves, I think, only his 3rd 10-pin and his first real solid one.
That's known as the ringing 10.
Yes.
Your ears will ring after a while on the tour if you leave too many of those, won't they?
Maybe what's in between will be.
Well, there's nothing worse, Mike, than standing up there and executing and throwing a flush shot and leaving a solid pin.
See if he can make it a little easier this time. He had trouble with the 2 of them he did leave.
Well, if you watch the tip, he will.
He watched.
So did I, and I feel much more comfortable now.
Let's see if Les feels more comfortable with the approach. By the way, Les has got a tennis shoe on his right foot. The reason he has that is because the approach has been a little on the slippery side all week. You see that tennis. Make sure that on his pivot step, the next to last step, that he gets good traction, that he can plant with that step and get the slide. See if he can get his composure back together. And he did, right in the park. That's the first strike he got. That ball really set, didn't it?
Well, they must have been saving him. And really, as we look at the 4 players already here this afternoon, Les Zikes by far and away playing the most inside angle. He's trying to arc the ball a little bit. He's trying to do that all week long.
He's playing in left of the second arrow, where the other players are all playing from the 8th board and right. Les goes a little bit slower, has a nice soft turn to the ball, using a urethane bowling ball, as all the players are today. Trying for a quick double. Through the heart, leaves a 3-6. He's just short with that follow-through. He just kind of stabbed at that shot, and you want to get it. You know Spiezio's going to bowl a good game at him. You want to get out ahead quick.
Also, when there's a tendency to maybe throw that ball a little bit right and not get it back, you just have that tendency to maybe pull up a little bit short and give it a little help.
Right. Has the 3-6, though. He's still right there.
Perfect spare conversion for Les Zikes, 51 years of age. 3 PBA titles, won the Waukegan Open twice, and did so 14 years apart. Took him too long to win that one twice, right?
Spiezio's really having trouble, isn't he? 253.5 average for 2 games.
Is that what you guys call being locked in?
Well, wait till he gets over his jitters on television. Huh?
Boy.
Trying for his first strike in the 3rd game. Another solid 10-pin. Well, what you tell yourself in that situation is they can't keep standing. I'll just keep putting them there, make the spare. And really, you don't mind them that much unless they cost you at that situation. In a match play situation like that, I think Spiezio knows that he's got the upper hand right now, because he's locked into the pocket, even though he leaves a couple 10-pins as we see him move extreme left of that last dot. Cross lane at the 10-pin. There's it, dead center. He's not going to miss anymore.
Well, he made one mistake in the match against Salvino, and that really is about the only one he has made. He trails by 1 as Zikes struck in the first and spared in the second. As I mentioned, the winner of this match will bowl ABC and PBA Hall of Famer Dick Weber for all the wheat, as they say, here on the tour.
And Spiezio beat ABC and PBA Hall of Famer Carmen Salvino, and now he's bowling ABC Hall of Famer Les Zikes. And of course, ABC is the American Bowling Congress, the governing body of bowling. Their headquarters in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Spiezio back in the pocket and knocks all 10 down this time, not just 9.
Let's touch again on that ABC as far as the Hall of Fame is concerned. For a while, no question about it, in the 60s, Les Zikes was an amateur and easily the best player, I think, in the world during that stage.
Yeah, with 6 ABC titles and 8 FIQ titles, gold medals. He was an international bowler and tremendous on the amateur scene. High again. And leaves the 3-6.
Mike, he's in a situation now. Give me an idea in your mind. You've stood up there, you threw 1 strike, now you've missed the pocket. You've really missed the head pin left twice. Isn't it about time to make a rather drastic adjustment to try and get the ball in the pocket?
Well, we'll wait and see. Let me make this spare first. If I were in that situation, that would be going through my mind, because I'd be thinking that I've got to bowl 230 to win this match, because Spiezio is just drilling the pocket. The thing with Les is, though, he's going to say, hey, I've been playing around the second arrow, a little left of it all week long. That's what got me here. And right now, I just haven't executed the way I want to. If I throw the ball well, it's going to wind up in the 1-3 pocket. So I think he's going to try, rather than make the big move, he's going to try and execute a little better.
And one of the most versatile players on the tour, Les Zikes. He can play from anywhere. Needs a strike here.
Ooh, leaves a solid 9. Finally did execute real well and got the bad break. And there's his wife, Mary Kay.
Ooh, boy. Excellent shot. Mary Kay, I know, a little disturbed with that one as well. She doesn't say a whole lot, but of course the stomach is churning. Great shot here for Les Zikes.
Solid, and the ball will chop the 5 off the 9, and the 3-pin just missed the 9 somehow. Converts the spare.
Once again, a very tight match here. Match number 3. The winner advances to the title, and we'll be back with more bowling on ESPN right after this.
This bud's for all that you do.
Carlos, I need 100 of these by Friday.
My friend, I'm retired. My son is running the business now.
You know just where you're going. It's true, your pride is showing, cause you make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This bud's for you.
You come face to face with our romantic past and eye to eye with our robotic future. You witness the renaissance of an Italian hill town, stroll a booming Texas campus, visit the Queen's Merchants in London, explore the Mexican forest where monarch butterflies winter. You meet a bully president, brave volunteer firefighters, the daring acrobats of old Japan, and the amazing mules of the New South. You discover a whole world in just this one issue of Smithsonian Magazine. And now you can get 12 monthly issues of this remarkable magazine for only $18. Plus, you become an associate member of the Smithsonian Institution, eligible for travel benefits, book, and gift discounts. Nature, art, science, history, every month, our whole world. There is no other magazine like Smithsonian.
To get the next 12 issues of Smithsonian Magazine for only $18, call toll-free 800-554-9000. That's 800-554-9000. Call now. Whole new worlds are waiting for you.
There's just one place you need to go for all the names and games making sports news. ESPN Sports Center. Twice every day, 3 times on Sunday, Chris Berman, Gail Gardner, and Greg Gumbel bring you the latest scores, the hottest trades, and the top plays from the world of sports. Sports Center takes you on the road with live remotes from major events like the NBA Finals and the Indy 500. Sports Center, your total source for sports, only on the Total Sports Network, ESPN.
And there we see some of our other top finishers. Doug Johnson was in 6th place. Bob Kwolek, last year's runner-up, finished 7th. Some other, Tita Semez, PBA long stalwart. Les Sisler. Bob Perry was an early leader. Glenn Ellison of 900 fame. Jim Vernacchio was on the show a few years ago. Billy Walden, last year's champ. And Jerry Walker finished 18th.
And a big week. Biggest week, really, I think, for the PBA seniors up until this point. $13,000 for the winner. Heck, if you just make the show and you finish 5th, you get to take $4,000 home. That is, of course, if you can get out of the casino in time to get to the airport.
And Spiezio, whose career earnings are around $6,000, has got 5 locked up, so he's almost equaled his career earnings already.
And he has bowled sensational here. He leads by 2 pins. A couple of solid 10s to start, and then a strike in the 3rd.
Increases that lead to 12, and he's just throwing every ball solid in the 1-3. It's just, I think that you were probably right, and that Les should make a move to move out closer to where he's playing to try and be somewhat competitive, but I don't think that he will.
Well, you know, you've got to play your own hunches, too, and when you're as talented a player as he is, I think you have to rely on your instincts, and sometimes it's easier for us to sit up here and say, boy, he probably should do this or that, but boy, we're not the ones down there.
That's right. It's always easy to be that Monday morning quarterback, you know, that they should have called this play or that play.
You never throw an interception on Monday morning.
Trying for 3 in a row, and has them. And Les better do something.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Dick Weber, of course, off to our right, warming up, getting ready for the title game. He is obviously very well aware of the fact that Spiezio is striking. Do you think that, that he may be rooting for Les Zikes at this point?
I think I would be, I'll tell you what.
Well, this match is far from over. Palatine, Illinois' finest, trying to climb right back in the match.
He moved a little deeper, knocks that 5 into the 7. He's not about to move. This is what got him there, and that's what he's going to go with. You know, he's thrown the last 2 in the pocket. If he can double here, he's still in the match, but he desperately needs to string 2 together here to put some pressure on Spiezio.
And of course, Les's son Lyle, a member of the Professional Bowlers Association, and a very capable player on his own.
Used to be a member of the PBA staff out here.
That's right. I would venture to say he's probably watching the match.
Les trying for a double to bite into that lead. A little light, but gets it. And I see a determined look on his face there.
The pins are still swishing on lane 59. We have seen our share of strikes thus far here in this match, and of course throughout the matches today.
I don't know how many there have been, but there have been more strikes than anything else. And Spiezio, who just rolls along, solid 10, and then 3 solid strikes, trying for 4 in a row. His lead has been cut to 12. A little light and doesn't carry this time. Got that one a little wide and it didn't come back. Left the 4-pin and there's life for Zikes yet.
Trying to run that one out and use the body English. Left a stubborn 4-pin. Very simply put, Mickey Spiezio says, my goal, my bowling goal, is to win a PBA title.
Well, he's getting closer to it with each frame. However, the lead's only 11 pins right now, and we've got 4 frames to go. If he makes this spare, of course, he can't take anything for granted. At the 4-pin, no problem.
Mike, let me pose another question. Mickey is in a position where he has already won 2 crucial matches. His adrenaline has been up and down. What about his stamina at this point? Do you have a tendency to maybe lose your concentration a little bit or relax as the afternoon goes on?
I think that he might have had a tendency to relax as he got ahead in this match and saw that Les was struggling somewhat. Let's see if he can put it back together now and get that concentration and start drilling that pocket again.
Spiezio with an 11-pin lead through 6 frames.
7th frame action. And crunches the 4. He didn't know about that one.
Well, every time he has needed a strike, Mickey Spiezio has come up with a perfect 1-3 hit. And Les Zikes will try and answer the bell right after this timeout.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
Up here, power when you need it can save your neck. When you get back down to your car, it helps too. Today's smaller engines need extra firepower from a spark plug, and AC delivers. If you could look inside your engine, you'd see an AC spark plug delivering up to 30,000 volts, firing 30 times a second. Firepower when you need it from AC.
Get rebates now on AC spark plugs.
Never wait for trouble.
Winners know what it takes to win. In this game, it takes more control, more power, more precision, more curve. One ball has it all. One ball dominates winning on the Pro Tour. The Black U-Dot from Columbia 300. The Black U-Dot, the ball of champions. Columbia 300, sold only in lanes or pro shops.
And coming up on ESPN, the Kart American 200 live June 8th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific Time. And, of course, the site, the Wisconsin State Fair Park in Milwaukee. And I have a feeling that the Indy winner, Bobby Rahal, may just be in that race. And, boy, what a hot ticket that was last week.
Did you watch the tail end of that? It sure was exciting, wasn't it?
I watched about the last half an hour, and he sort of snuck by old Kevin Kogan.
I thought Kogan had the race won.
Les Zikes going to try and sneak by Mickey Spiezio.
Down by only 11. Can cut it to 1. Big, big shot right here to keep that momentum going. And, ooh, oh, almost knocked that 4-pin down. He smacks his hands.
It almost looks, Mike, like Les is playing a fallback shot, something that we haven't seen on the tour in quite some time.
Well, they've taken the oil a long way here. They've gone down 40 feet with the oil as far as how far they buffed it with the machine. And so when it goes down 40, he's got it. Hit a little left there, but sometimes you can create
a little bit and says, oh, no problem, I got the spare.
And we see Les from the back. He holds the ball in the middle. Now watch his arm swing. As it comes back a little out, and then he kind of loops it back in close to his hip. See it come in there? Right through. Just like that, and a good follow-through. Went to the right just a little bit, and that's why the ball went a freckle high.
Les Zikes playing actually the 3rd arrow, and he is by far and away the deepest angle-wise of any player on the show.
Down by 12 pins. Tried to help that one back, and left at 10. And at the end, his follow-through went just a hair left that time, trying to help that ball back, and the ball just didn't quite finish.
I know the pros are constantly talking carry, carry, carry. It's one thing to hit the pocket, it's another to get strikes. And from the angle Les is playing, he's got to be almost near perfect to strike from there, doesn't he?
Either that or that light shaker that he got, right?
Yeah.
We saw he left the solid 9, he left the 4-pin, now he leaves the weak 10. Cross lane, no mistakes. He's still in this match. Has the 10-pin. Spiezio with a hammer in his hand, though, can really put the heat on Zikes with a couple strikes here. Up by 13, can increase it to 23. We're in the 8th frame.
Now, this would be a key double, make no mistake about it, because it would set up the 9th frame for him.
Right now, Les Zikes' best potential is 225 if he would strike all the way out. Spiezio's going at a 218 pace right now if he would spare a strikeout. Oh, leaves a solid 7, and he didn't even know it. He had his back to it. He didn't even know it, Dan. He was so sure of that one that he ran it out and had his back to it. And watch the 2-pin and the head pin. The 2-pin goes to the sideboard and jumps off the side and misses the 7-pin.
That'll demoralize you in a hurry. It's payoff time. And watch him. He'll look back now. Does he look back? There's the peak. Oh, no. What happened? It stood up.
He had counted. He had written that one down. Keeps Zikes in the match. He's got to get himself together, though. He's collect his thoughts and make the spare. And he does. But let's see if that is such a letdown at not striking there that he can't get himself back together to strike here in the 9th frame.
Well, he still leads by 13, but it would have been 23 had he struck there, and he would have really been in a position to make things difficult for Les Zikes.
And again, he's had every ball in the 1-3. Left a 10-pin in the 1st, 10-pin in the 2nd, 4-pin in the 6th, and then the solid 7 in the 8th frame. 9th frame action. He still has the upper hand. Foundation a little high. Ooh, and the 4, 6, 7, 10, and there's the double pinochle. What a turnaround. The 7-pin would have put him up by 23, and he's going to go behind in this match right now. What he's got to do is take a chance at this, Dan. He's got to take a flyer at it. He's looking up at the automatic score and adding up the score. Right now, he is down 3. If he misses this, he's going to have 182. If he gets 8 out, he would be down 3 at that point if he misses it. If he makes it, he's still up in the match. Let's see what he does.
He has been virtually error-free today.
Until this frame. Hard at the 6-10 and gets one of them. An extra pin lost. And Les Zikes sitting on the bench takes a 4-pin lead, and Zikes can win this match yet. Les blowing out a little air, collecting his thoughts.
Realizing, of course, this is the key shot, probably the shot of the match.
His opportunity right here in the next 2 frames. It's holding solid. Les responded to the challenge. That puts him in the driver's seat completely. He's up by 4 pins. He gets a strike here in the 10th, 7 and a spare, and he's a winner. He needs the first strike. If he does not strike on the first ball in the 10th, then Spiezio can still win the match.
What a turnaround, and Les Zikes has never been lower than 2nd at any time during this tournament.
He chose to finish on lane 59. Let's see if he can respond in the pressure. The bowler who performs in the 10th is going to win. Bumps that ball up and down, trying to get loose. One good shot is what he's thinking. 2, 4, 8. It didn't finish. Spiezio's still alive. Tough spare, too. This is no gimme.
Well, you're right about that. The last thing in the world, of course, he decided to give it a little room and see if he might be able to swish the rack, and the ball just did not react quite the way he wanted to, and you're right. This is about as tough as you get.
And the crowd murmuring in the background. He has to put all that out of his mind, concentrate on making this spare. Has it. 7 pins, and it will force Spiezio to double in the 10th frame to win.
I know one thing. Les Zikes would not want to shoot that one over again. At this point, it's time to get 10 in the pit, sit down, and force the other guy to throw the double.
But he's let the tuna out of the pond, so to speak. He could have put him away, and he's given Spiezio life.
We have had 3 outstanding matches. And, of course, we've got Dick Weber waiting in the wings, as they say. And you know what kind of a show he puts on.
And he's been averaging 230 this week. There's the shot he wanted on the first one. Right there. Pretty shot. One ball too late is what Les is saying.
So Zikes finishes out the semifinal match with a 205, and it was a clean 205. Did not have an open throughout the entire game.
One double. Spiezio has to have 2 strikes and 5 pins. Needs this first one. He responded to the challenge against Salvino.
Got to take them one at a time, too.
And there's one of them. Can't be any better. No solid 7 there.
Are you sure that Mickey Spiezio hasn't been bowling under an assumed name over the last 10 or 15 years on the tour, Mike? He is as cool as a cucumber out there. But the other thing is, too, the first time you bowl on national television, you really don't know how to lose because you've never been there before.
Well, you can turn that around. You don't know how to win either. I mean, but
he's already won twice.
Now he does. Yeah. Let's see if he can win 3 times. Needs this strike. This is the one right here. To win, he's wide, and Zikes goes on. Just the pressure that time, I think, actually did it. He just gave it, didn't want to go high, gave it too much room.
Tremendous effort by 50-year-old Mickey Spiezio to advance into the title match, but Les Zikes holding his head in his hands, shaking his head, realizing that you don't get many breaks out here when you're sitting on the bench, especially when a title shot is on the line. And so Les Zikes will advance into the championship game. The final score in the semifinal, Les Zikes 205 and Mickey Spiezio 200. And so, of course, coming up next, it's Zikes and PBA Hall of Famer Dick Weber for the title. We'll be back right after this.
A natural wood deck. It looks so beautiful until it meets up with the weather. Soon this deck looks old, weathered, and worn. In the past, all you could do was either stain it a darker color or paint it and cover up the natural beauty of the wood. But now there's Restorex Weathered Wood Renewer, a remarkable way to bring back the beauty of exterior wood surfaces. This cedar deck is only 5 years old, and look how the weather has turned the original stain into a dull gray finish. But watch, simply apply Restorex, wait, then lightly rub with a brush, rinse, and watch the old stain wash away right before your eyes. Now a light coating of Restorex conditioner leaves the wood looking like new. Use Restorex on wood siding, fences, railings, benches, and planters. So why cover up weather-beaten wood? Get Restorex Weathered Wood Renewer and enjoy the rich natural beauty.
Restorex Weathered Wood Renewer is available at True Value, Ace Hardware, Sherwin-Williams, and other fine stores.
So big fame.
Not long ago, German automotive experts gave their top award to one car for its exceptional styling and technology. But the car isn't German. It's a Mitsubishi Galant. Galant won the Golden Steering Wheel Award for its unique technology. An available electronically controlled suspension. Computer-controlled transmission with fingertip-activated overdrive. Mitsubishi Galant, acclaimed for technology.
Fantastic.
Everywhere.
Watch Nesbitt & Company. Compelling conversations with today's corporate leaders. An exclusive series on Nation's Business Today. Weekday mornings on ESPN.
Trying to determine what was the turning point of match number 3, and I've chosen the 8th frame. Spiezio was up at this point by 13 pins, could take a 23-pin lead, threw a perfect shot. He's running it out at this point, has his back to it, and leaves the solid 7. That would have put him up by 23. As we see his reaction, his eyes tell you that he thinks it's a strike. Right here, he's already got it written up and scored, and now he leaves the 7-pin. He followed that with double pinochle. The wind was out of his sails, and he lost the match.
You can't throw it much better than that. So Les Zikes with a 205 game, as I mentioned before, a game with no opens. He hung in there, threw his spares, and did what he had to do to win. But he'll advance now to bowl in the title match against Hall of Famer Dick Weber. And coming up on ESPN, the 1986 U.S. Open Golf Championship, first and second round coverage, and of course begins Thursday, June 12th, and it's at noon Eastern Daylight Time, and all the greats will be there. Mike Durbin, do you think Jack Nicklaus could win U.S. Open number 5?
Well, we didn't think he could win Masters. What was it, number 6?
Number 6. So he's had a half dozen of those
that he won, and what a tremendous performance he put on there at the tail end of that tournament. So if he can do that, he can win the U.S. Open.
And of course, this year's U.S. Open, a $700,000 purse up for grabs at the Shinnecock Hills Country Club, and that of course is located on the western tip of Long Island, and it's out near the Atlantic, and if the wind blows, you're going to have to keep the ball up.
$700,000. Wow. Weber here is just finishing up his practice shots. When he comes over, he gets 6 practice shots. He can take them any way he wants. 3 on one lane, 3 on the other, or 4 and 2, however he wants to do it. Right now, he's finishing up on the left lane, and I'm pretty sure that Dick Weber is going to choose to finish on lane 59. Throughout his career, he has liked to get out in front early and make the other guy chase him, and I think that that's the strategy that he will employ here today. He has not been striking in practice like he did during the course of the week.
He struck on this pair during the week, Mike. Let me lay some pretty heavy numbers on you here. Averaged 269 for 2 games. He shot 280 and 258. So if he does get lined up on the TV pair, it could be lights out.
Well, we'll see if that gift really that Les Zikes got in that game is going to loosen him up and he can go on and win this title, as my pick is still alive.
Oh, boy. You'd like to be 1 for 1.
Light, and knocks the 10-pin out of there. Comes up that half-pocket hit. And he's looking over at someone. I don't know who it was over here.
Mike, what kind of an advantage for Les to have bowled an entire game on that pair to make those adjustments?
I think more than the adjustments, it's mental or emotional that he's settled down now and throwing the ball the way he wants to throw it. Weber quickly up to the line. And does he get the message? Yes!
Well, it has been his week all week long, as Dick Weber led this tournament by 506 pins, and there's one of the reasons why.
That was the head pin. Comes all the way across the lane and gets the 10, no doubt.
In talking with Dick, he has never led a tournament by more than he did this one this week.
And I don't think he's ever bowled any better than he did this week.
Well, when you average 231 for 36 games, you're doing something right.
At age 56. Amazing, isn't it?
You almost expect it out of Weber.
To take an early 10-pin lead. Light, 2-pin. He never got out of that thumb hole clean. And you see him put his hand down like that. When Weber puts his hand down like that as a gesture, that means that he wants to settle down, slow down, and stay down at the line.
He may be one of those guys that maybe one of the greatest adjusters at the line of trying to figure out what you've done wrong and make the reaction with your hand.
Has the 2-pin, no problem. Now watch him here. It'll be hard to see, but he just never gets his thumb out of this ball cleanly. Dick throws a semi-spinner anyway. He comes over the top of this ball, and he just didn't get his thumb out of that ball as clean as he wanted. See how he came up at the line there? Didn't stay down the way he wanted to. Zikes, a more deliberate player, bounces that ball to get that good feel to take a quick 10-pin lead here. A little high, and the 6, 7, 10. Boy, just couldn't take advantage of the opportunity. Weber gave it to him. That was the opportunity right there to jump out ahead of Weber quickly. Playing that fallback shot, and it didn't fall back. Cross lane at the 10-pin, or the 6, 7, 10 rather. I think he's going for it here. He almost has to in this kind of situation.
He's given it a chance. Oh! Well, the crowd appreciative of that effort as Les Zikes hung it out on the gutter. And at this point in time, after 2 frames, tournament leader Dick Weber leads by 12 pins, and Zikes will have to come back and try and strike on lane 59.
Emotionally, that has to really be a downer because he just, had gotten his act together, thrown the ball pretty well in the right lane at the tail end of game number 1 that he bowled. Knocks out that wall shot.
Well, the important thing, as you mentioned before, when you do make a mistake or you do open up at this level, you've got to come back and you've got to strike, and he's got those pins shaking all over the deck.
And we see the 4-5-7 as the head pin cleaned him out. And ironically enough, that's the hit that made Dick Weber famous, and he gets it thrown against him.
Well, he's used that a few times this week as well. Weber with a 12-pin lead, shooting in the third.
A little high, leaves the 4-pin. And Weber is just, he is anxious right now. He's not settled down the way Dick can throw the ball.
Mike, when you don't have an opportunity to bowl on national television for 6 or 8 or 9 months at a time, do you get a little rusty out there? Is it a little more difficult to get your emotions under control?
I think it's a confidence matter more than the time matters. He goes cross lane at the 4-pin. He's just not sure of himself on the lanes, on the pair of lanes right now. I don't really think it's so much the fact that he hasn't been on television, because he was recently in a television show that he won in the Budweiser Hall of Fame Classic. And it's just a matter that he's not sure of himself on the lanes. The ball's not reacting as well as it had all week for him.
Dick Weber looking for a PBA title number 28, matching the total number of years he's been a member of that organization.
Through the heart, breaks up the split, leaves just the 4-7, but he has given Zikes life.
We've seen a lot of high scores already here today, but in the title match, you're in a situation now where things are starting to tighten up a little bit.
Weber cross lane at the 4-7. Stuck at that line. Makes the 4-7.
Both players hanging in there, both players waiting to see who will take the lead in this title match. Back with a conclusion right after this.
You know those good times, they keep rolling on at the Showboat. They keep rolling on. The Showboat, that's where you belong in Las Vegas. The Showboat.
Is on Showtime all summer long.
World champion motorcyclist Freddie Spencer explains what it takes to win Tuesday on ESPN. You'll race the Formula One, Superbike, and Supercross circuits with the Road America speed record holder. Motorcycle Racing Explained Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Jack's back and ESPN's got him. Live at the U.S. Open starting Thursday, June 12th at noon Eastern. Don't miss a moment.
And coming up next week on ESPN, week number 2 of the 12-week summer tour, PBA-wise, back at the Showboat for the $130,000 doubles classic. Steve Cook and Mike Albee, the defending champions. I'm sure after the off period, they will have been practicing and gearing up to defend their title, and just a bushel full of great teams on tap next week. And of course, the show live on Wednesday night, July 11th, beginning at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Here's a breakdown of our purse this week. In 5th place, Glenn Pierce wound up there. Spiezio defeated him. Pierce takes home $4,000. Spiezio also defeated Carmen Salvino, who will take home $4,500. Spiezio ran out, though, against Les Zikes. Zikes just kind of outlasted him, so Spiezio winds up taking home $5,000, which is almost as much as he had made in his entire PBA career.
Plus, he got an opportunity to bowl against some pretty high-priced help. And anytime you can knock off Glenn Pierce and Carmen Salvino, you've got to be very proud of your accomplishments.
And just the way he bowled outstanding. Zikes to take the lead in the match. Trails by 9. A little more speed this time. And knocks the 10-pin out of there. Great shot. Now, he never made a move with his feet that time, Dan. He just got a little more loft on that ball, a little more speed, and the ball set right in the pocket.
So the first key double in the title match. And it came after a split for Les Zikes, and now he leads by 1. And, well, heck, we're all back to even.
Right. Neither player has wanted to take charge in this final match. See if Zikes can really kind of step up the pace here a little bit and get 3 in a row to take an 11-pin lead. Boy, he just lofted that one out there. And he looks at his hand. He just never got that off his thumb at all. It's just nobody wants to take charge. He said something to Weber, and Weber laughed.
Well, they're obviously very, very good friends. I'd like to touch on that. Perhaps the one characteristic of the seniors tournaments is the fact that these guys, hey, they're competing. They want to win, but they love the competition. They love to get to bowl against each other. That's the important thing.
Right now, the important thing is he makes the 3, 6, 9, 10, because that is a difficult spare, and he's not getting the thumb out of the ball right now. It's started to hang up on him. He's in trouble, and he doesn't make it. Boy, it's just here, you take it. No, I don't want it right now.
Little problem with the grip that time, and you could almost sense that Les was a little bit uncomfortable with that thumb, and he just didn't know if it was going to come out of the ball properly, and obviously it didn't. So now Weber on the bench now leads by 15 pins and would like to extend that lead heading into the 5th.
And both of our players here are wearing 2 different shoes. Weber has on a white shoe and a black shoe. The reason for this is so that he wouldn't slide too much. The approaches have been on the slippery side. Weber comes in light and gets his famous wall shot. He's been doing that all week long, and Zikes has a tennis shoe on his right foot so that he can not slip.
Weber's been winning with that wall shot for the last 30 years.
Yes, he certainly has. He carried a few of them against me that way.
No, he never did.
Dick Weber right now is the Midwest Regional Director of the PBA, and Les Zikes lives in Chicago in that region, so they have times that they work together. Weber for a double. And blows him out of there. Now we have somebody ready to take charge. What a shot that 4th frame was for Zikes.
Took him a while to get going, but now it's a 25-pin lead for the tournament's top seed, Dick Weber, with a big double in the 5th and the 6th. Now it's up to Les Zikes to come back and answer the counter punch with a couple of strikes on his own.
And you see Les swing that ball that time. He is unsure of how that thumb is going to come out of the ball, and you cannot throw it well when you're unsure of what's going to happen. Now he dropped that one a little bit. Leaves the 4-pin. He just doesn't know how that ball's going to come off his hand. It's hanging one time, and he's losing it the next.
Mike, what do you do in that position? If he's got some tape in there, obviously you could maybe take a piece of tape or something out, but what if it's just the grip and there's no tape in there?
Well, see, that's why you have to plan ahead. I've always drilled my thumb holes a little large so that I can put tape in there, and if it starts to hang, I can always take tape out. Cross lane at the 4-pin. That happened to me early in my PBA career when I would move out to the West Coast where it was hot and things like that, and my thumb would start to swell, and I'd find myself in the middle of the block, and I couldn't get out of the thumb hole. And after that, I started drilling it one size larger than normal so that I could put tape in it, and when that happened, I could take the tape out of the thumb hole and still be able to bowl. Nice and cool in this bowling center, but right now it's 108 outside. As Zikes tries to get something going, light again, and he's in dire trouble. He's just not throwing the ball, not coming off his hand. He lost that ball again, the 2-4-5.
So quickly it changes, especially on national television. 1 minute you're winning your match and you come out and throw a strike, and then the next minute you have a little problem. And I don't think most people realize the idiosyncrasies, the little problems that you run into when you're bowling on the national show.
Well, feel is just so important to a bowler. Once you lose the feel, you can't do anything, as he just barely converts the 2-4-5.
Well, Dick Weber right now is planning on winning PBA title 28, and Les Zikes is trying to stand in his way. We'll be back with a conclusion right after this timeout.
Pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
Up here, power when you need it can save your neck. When you get back down to your car, it helps too. Today's smaller engines need extra firepower from a spark plug, and AC delivers. If you could look inside your engine, you'd see an AC spark plug delivering up to 30,000 volts, firing 30 times a second. Firepower when you need it from AC.
Get rebates now on AC spark plugs.
Never wait for trouble.
Playing Major League Baseball keeps me pretty busy. Even when I'm not in the action, I keep up with the action. That's why I read the sporting news. Nobody gets you into the game like the sporting news. The ins, the outs, who's hot at the plate, who's swinging like a rusty gate, who's breaking, who's aching, and which teams are shaking it up around the league. More baseball coverage than your local paper and all other sports weeklies and monthlies combined. I'm serious about sports, and that's why I read the Sporting News. And here's how you can save some serious money when you sign on for a special half-price offer now.
You'll get 36 issues of the Sporting News for one-half the regular subscription price. You'll also get the football and basketball preview issues at no extra cost, all for 3 easy installments of only $5.99. So call now, toll-free, 1-800-592-6000.
The Sporting News, it's terrific.
Coming back from that last break, Dick Weber obviously feeling a little more comfortable about his chances here this week. He leads by 28 pins, and he's on a double heading into the 7th.
You can just put this match virtually away with a couple strikes in the next 2 frames. Right there. Doesn't knock down the 10 pin. It just gives a little bit of life to Les Zikes.
Dick Weber remembering all too well what it's like to win on the PBA Tour. He won 10 of the first 23 tournaments that they staged. That's nearly half, Mike.
He did dominate at the early stages, didn't he?
One of the only players to win 3 national tournaments in a row.
Johnny Petraglia also did that.
That's right.
Cross lane at the 10 pin. Kind of stuck at the line again. He's looking down at that approach, but he doesn't care. He's got the spare in the bag. He has a 27-pin lead with 3 frames to go, and Les Zikes is having trouble making 2 shots in a row alike because he's having trouble getting out of the thumb hole consistently.
It's funny, last night during a question and answer session, somebody asked Dick about the 2 different colored shoes. He said, well, I bought them at a rummage sale and got them real cheap.
At $1.50, didn't he? Is that what he said? 8th frame action. Weber on lane 59. Just wants to keep it in the pocket and strike like that. He says safe.
He has thrown a variety of strikes this week, not only flush, but the swishers and, of course, the wall shots. He's tripped the 4 a few times. He's had it all working, and that's why he leads by 27, and he is obviously in control here in the title match.
And you see Zikes swinging that ball again, just not sure how it's going to come off of his hand. And right now, as you're down to the nitty-gritty time, he's almost in a must-strike situation all the way out. And there it is. I'll tell you what, he's still alive, barely. He's still potential. 209 if he can strike it out. Weber going at a 206 pace. If Les Zikes wants to have any chance to win this match, he must strike now. Right now.
Got to feel a little bit better about his chances now after that last shot. Maybe he's made the adjustment and
he's swinging the ball. Swinging the ball again. He got out of that one nice and clean. Right now, the swinging of it is just a reinforcement to his confidence that he can get that ball off his hand cleanly. Must have this one. Did you see the follow-through? The follow-through went left, and the ball never turned over.
And his chances for winning this week.
And disappeared. Now watch the follow-through. Watch it here. He's ready to throw that ball. Watch the follow-through. Go left. The elbow breaks, and that's what they'll call the old chicken wing shot, and the ball never made it up. Left the 2, 4, 5, 8. That follow-through went straight through. Pressure is what does that thing.
Dick Weber now, I think, senses the victory.
It'd be interesting. Weber on a strike now knows that he has to watch his follow-through as it goes, and I'd be willing to bet right now that it goes out to the right some. Weber almost never chicken wings a shot.
Concentrating on a big shot right here.
Right out to the right. And that's good enough. He says fine. He left the 4-pin. He can make that.
Dick Weber wanting to strike on every shot, though. As we mentioned, he averaged a blistering 231 throughout the week. Took over the lead in round number 4 and just never looked back.
Cross lane at the 4-pin. Has this match well in hand and stuck again. Said something to the camera, but I don't know what it was.
I think Weber's just trying to survive out there right now. And Les Zikes, former Steve Nagy Award winner on the national tour, one of the nicest people that you'd ever want to meet in the bowling industry. And although he wants to win this one very badly, he and Dick are obviously good friends, and they're watching each other right now struggle a little bit here in the title match.
Weber just has to keep it on the lane, basically, right now. The best Zikes can come up with is a 189. Weber just needs to have a halfway decent count. That should do it right there. He's a winner.
A dejected Les Zikes, obviously realizing that that strike just slammed the door. And so Weber now with 28 career PBA titles. And he has now won 2 senior events, has cashed in all 8.
He says he likes the seniors tour. He wants to see 12 tournaments a year.
Well, he figures he beat them all 20 years ago. He might as well start it all over again. And Weber, in fine fashion, if he strikes here, would shoot .216.
Nice clean game. Kept the ball in the 1-3 pocket. Zikes never put any pressure on him. And Weber got his wish. He didn't have to bowl Spiezio, who probably would have bowled a little higher score.
Dick Weber, a $100,000 Showboat Senior Invitational Champion, and gets a rousing round of applause from an outstanding crowd here today at the Showboat. Les Zikes will just have to finish it up. Of course, Les qualifying in the number 2 slot and won't lose any money. He'll end up with $7,000, but Dick Weber on top, well, he'll add $13,000 to his career earnings.
And Zikes finished it up with a 4-7-10. It's just a game he's going to wind up in the 160s, and he says, just let me out of here. It's the first game we've had under 200 of any of our contestants today.
Les struggled a little in that semifinal match, but he hung on and did what he had to do to win and to advance into the title match. And Les Zikes finishes up with a 165. So Dick Weber, the champion here at the Showboat, and you can see it in his eyes. There's nothing like winning a tournament, Mike Durbin, to make you feel like you're alive. We'll be back with the winner of today's championship right after these messages.
It'll work on your dandruff.
Yeah, but I'm afraid it won't leave my hair the way I like it.
Hey, this is great stuff.
Today's Head and Shoulders.
It's all I use.
Okay.
Tough dandruff protection that works only on your scalp, not your hair. Gentle conditioners go there.
Tough on dandruff, right?
But great on hair.
Today's Head and Shoulders. Dandruff care that's good for your hair.
Assignments for today.
Like many before, you came here asking for just one thing.
Sadowski. Shiboski.
A chance.
Pronounced Shiboski.
You're gonna make it here, 'cause you make America work, and this bug's for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste
Hey, Sid.
that says Budweiser.
This bug's for you.
Father's Day, it's coming, and the savings are here now. Inside True Value Hardware Store's new Father's Day circular. Get Dad this ever-ready fluorescent lantern, just $8.99. Provide project ideas with the Ortho Home Improvement Encyclopedia, only $12.88. And choose quality tools like the Skill cordless screwdriver, just $18.44. Or the Plano toolbox with 15 compartments, only $14.99 at participating True Value Hardware stores. Tell them Pat Summerall sent you.
Chocolate is scrumptious, very crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
900-976-1313. ESPN Dial Sports, the number for the latest scores, stats, and trends, plus ESPN programming information. For just 50 cents a call, you get the country's best scoreboard service, plus our primetime lineup. 900-976-1313. ESPN Dial Sports. Call anytime.
And the winner of the $100,000 Showboat Senior Invitational, the guy to my left, the great Dick Weber.
Thank you, Denny. Thank you. It's certainly a thrill, I'll tell you that. It's a pleasure and an honor to be able to bowl with these fellows out here, because I started in the some of them with the 40s, like Carmen, and some of the other fellows in the 50s and 60s, and it's just a pleasure and an honor for me to be able to participate with them, and they're all a bunch of great guys, and they're all champions as far as I'm concerned.
History does repeat itself. Dick, of course, a winner here at the Showboat back in 1963. That's That's a while back, although he looks much better for the wear. And, of course, we have a trophy presentation for you here. Miss Judy Moore, General Manager of the Showboat Hotel. Judy?
Thank you, Judy. Thank you.
Dick, on behalf of the Showboat Hotel, it's been 23 years since we've seen you here. Can we expect the same performance next week in the doubles?
Well, I hope so. I hope my partner carries me because I'm quite a load out there. But I'll be looking forward to trying to be able to accept a trophy along with Tita Semez.
Well, I hope next week I'll give the same trophy to you guys again.
Thank you. By the way, Judy, do I look like this man on top or what? I wasn't quite sure.
No, you look better than this guy on top.
Thanks.
Yeah, without the mustache. But, Judy, I know you have something else for Mr. Weber, and it's a very large check for $13,000.
My goodness sakes.
And we will cash this at the cage for you, Dick.
I'll be right over, Judy.
He's been there several times. Thank you very much, Judy. Put that down. Very exciting championship. You were the top seed. It's not easy to lead a tournament by 500 pins with all the pressure of having to wait and wait and wait and bowl one game for the title. What did you think your chances were before you started?
Well, after watching Mickey Spiezio start out, I thought, well, it's pretty much lights out. Then watched Carmen bowl, and he done a terrific job. And I said, well, if he makes it, it's lights out. Then I watched Les put pressure on Mickey, and I said, well, it's lights out. So I got nervous coming out here, I'll be honest with you. And I tightened up a few shots, but finally I got a little loose, and things started happening for me.
Dick, I just want to congratulate you. You know, it just seems like you continue to roll along and keep winning tournaments. It seems to be a weekly habit with you. I did notice that the first few frames there that you were a little bit uptight and everything, and then Les left that 3, 6, 9, 10 and missed it. Was that what loosened it up for you?
Well, I think so, because when a fellow opens up for you like that, it loosens you up. Naturally, all you want to do is keep it to the at least right of the head pin anyway, and have that chance to reach your pocket and strike. But I wasn't comfortable with the way I was standing and releasing the ball, and I was throwing too much speed and too much of a tight line to begin with. And I said, what the heck? I didn't do that all the week. Why not relax a little bit, let it go out? Because I don't throw that much hook, but of course I got a little help from lanes. But it loosened me up when I got the first strike, and then the second strike. Boy, it was lights out for less. It was lights out for less then.
Were the lanes the same this week, today on the show, as they have been all week long?
I felt I had to move in a little bit more than what I did through the whole tournament because the outside was just a touch drier. And, of course, you can't say it's a touch drier. The body changes a little bit each day. And when you're out here bowling for 13,000 first place and you want that title real bad, the fingers tighten up a little bit and the arm swing tightens up a little bit. So it can't be all lane condition. It's got to be the individual.
Well, what I want to know is you won in 1963. That was 23 years ago. This is 1986. Are you going to win 23 years from now?
How old does that make me, Mike? I don't know. I'm going to try like Mad Mike. I enjoy the game so much. I'm practically retired from the national tour, but I'm going to be around to harass some of these fellas anyway.
Well, I'm looking forward to bowling you when I get the seniors.
We're going to raise the age limit when you become eligible.
The $100,000, of course, Showboat Senior Championship brought to you by the True Value Hardware Stores. The more you've got to do, well, of course, the more you need True Value Hardware Stores because we've got what it takes. Absolutely fabulous finish for Dick Weber, another PBA championship, number 28, and let's hope there are 28 more.
Thank you very much, Dennis, and thanks to Showboat and all the people here. They're just beautiful. Thank you.
Coming up next week, live here from the Showboat, the PBA Doubles Classic. Steve Cook and Mike Aubie will be back to try and defend their championship 9 o'clock on Wednesday night. Of course, that's Eastern Standard Time live on ESPN.